Hi guys, and welcome to my video. Today we are going to do this olive green spring glam. I got really inspired by my new ColourPop Cosmetics eyeshadow in So Quiche. It's an olive green slash pink sort of combination, so I had so much fun playing with colors to make this dramatic spring look. So if you like this look, go ahead and keep watching and we'll get started with the tutorial. So let's get started. So the first step we're going to do, of course, is to prime our skin. I'm going to use the Professionals primer from Benefit, and I'm just going to mainly put this in the T-zone, and I'm just going to push the rest of it back. So in the areas where I do have larger pores, I like to push it in there. Alright, so I'm going to let that set and just move on to brows. I'm going to use the brow definer in medium brown from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Using the spoolie end, I'm just going to comb through the brows. And I'm going to start mapping it out. Next, we're just going to fill in the sparse areas. I also use the e.l.f. brow gel just to tame those brows. And I use concealer to clean up the brow using a concealer brush. Now I'm going to go in with the Tartelette palette, and I'm going to use the lightest shade, which is Supermom. I'm just going to put that all over the lid. And this is really going to set that concealer we used, as well as brighten up the eye. You really want to focus a lot of the product underneath the brow, and this is going to work as our highlight. Alright, so we are going to go in with our Naked palette. It's just a lot of really pretty pinks. I'm going to go in with the shade Limit, and I'm going to take my favorite fluffy brush, and I'm just going to use this as my transition shade. With our transition shade done, we are now going to go in with a darker shade, and this is really going to deepen up the crease. I'm going to take Nooner from that same palette onto this fluffy, flat Morphe brush, and I'm just going to take that right under where I put that transition shade. And we're just going to deepen that crease. Alright, so I'm going to go in with the shade Buzz, and we're going to do a halo shape. I'm going to take this brush from BH Cosmetics, and it's just more of a pointed, tipped brush. I'm going to take Buzz on the end, and we're going to go into the outer and the inner corner. So Buzz has a really light pigment that it's hard to pick up just on the brush alone. So what I'm going to do is take some MAC Prep and Prime. I'm going to spray that on the brush, just a smidge. And this will really pick the color up so that it shows up more. I'm going to bring that into the crease and then along into the inner corner. We're going to leave the middle just open. Alright, so right now we have a lot of color, but not a lot of definition. So we are going to go in with the darker shade, which is, let's go in with Black Heart, and we're just going to put this on in the outer V and just a tad in the crease. I'm actually going to go in with the brush that I used for the transition shade, and I'm going to blend that out. Alright, so now for the fun part. We are going to go in with our eyeshadow, which is really the whole tie-in for the look. And it also just fell on the ground, so that was really cool. 1 second. Alright, so I managed to fix that. So we're going to go in with the color So Quiche. It's really pretty. It's from ColourPop. It's a Super Shock eyeshadow. It's a light olive green color with flecks pink, so it reflects back sort of a mixture of pink and green. It's really pretty. We're going to put this on the lid in the space that we left open and right in the middle. So I'm going to start off using my finger for this, and then I'm going to use a brush to sort of define the outer edges. on the other end, we're going to take Buzz, and we're going to clean up the halo shape. Alright, so we have the lid shade pretty much done. Next I'm going to move on to eyeliner. I'm going to use my favorite eyeliner. I think this is from NYC, and it's a liquid eyeliner. I'm going to send a quick prayer before I do my liner. And then once I do the liner, I'm going to use concealer, and I'm really going to clean up these edges here, so no worries about that. So when I do my liner, I like to start by lining the lid as close to the lash line as possible. Then I'll go in with the wing, and then I'll fill everything in. Alright, so now that we have the wing shape done, I'm actually going to extend that wing, and we're just going to make that wing look longer. Next, we're going to take a moment to realize that our wings don't match. Just cry a little bit on the inside and move on. Alright, so now that we have our lids done, we're going to move on to our face. I'm going to zoom you guys out. And I'm going to start on foundation. I'm going to use my same L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, but I'm going to use the shade 105. So now that our foundation is all blended in, we're going to go in with concealer. I'm going to take some on my concealer brush, and I'm going to put some underneath the wing to really clean up the wing and sharpen it. So next I'm going to take the rest of the concealer, put it underneath the eyes, on the forehead, down the nose, and on the chin. And taking the other side of our beauty sponge, we're just going to blend that all out. Alright, so before we set the concealer, I do want to contour my nose just a bit since this is a more dramatic look. So I'm going to use my Fit Me concealer in the shade 30, which is Cafe. And then I'm going to use that same concealer brush we had been using. I'm going to use this to make the line on the nose and define the nose. And I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics brush, this sort of flat angled brush. I'm going to use that to blend out the concealer, and then final step, I'm going to use my beauty sponge to blend out everything. Alright, so now that we have that nose contour done, we're going to start setting everything. I'm first going to set the concealer on the nose with the NYX Banana Powder. We're just going to run that down the middle. Next I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. blush brush into the banana powder, and I'm going to set the under eyes with this. Okay, so next we're going to take our Laura Mercier powder, we're going to take it on our beauty sponge, and we are going to bake today. So, taking some just on the tip of the sponge, I'm going to take that and I'm going to concentrate that mainly in this V, mainly under the eyes, but in this V shape. Alright, so I'm going to let that bake set for about a minute or so. While that sets, I'm going to move on to my contour. I'm going to take the dark matte shades from the e.l.f. bronzer palette. So I'm going to find the hollows of my cheeks, and I'm just going to put these matte shades just in the hollow. Alright, so now that we have that contour in, we're going to take the bronzy shade and we're going to do the triangle and really bronze up the skin. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to do the forehead as well. I'm going to take that to the temples. We're also going to take that to the chin and to the jawline. I'm going to use that banana powder a little bit on the e.l.f. brush, and I'm just going to dust away this powder we have here. Now that our concealer is done, I'm going to move on to the rest of the eyes. So I'm going to take this smaller fluffy brush, and I'm gonna get back into Nooner, and I'm really gonna define the under eyes with this. Now, using a small angled brush, we're gonna take just a little bit of black heart, and we're gonna use this to define the outer eye. We're just gonna put this as close to the lash line as possible. And I'm just going to diffuse that into the Nooner color with this brush here. Okay, so the under eyes are done. Next, taking your favorite eyelash curler, you're just going to curl your eyelashes. Taking my favorite mascara, I'm going to use the Lash Sensational mascara, and I'm just going to run that on the eyelashes, and this is just preparing our eyes for the false lashes that we're going to use. Alright, so now that we have mascara on the lashes, we are going to apply our false lashes. These are the House of Lashes Iconics. They are my absolute favorite. I'm going to apply these off camera and I'll be right back. Alright, so our lashes are on. Now I'm going to move on to the lower lash line. Using my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, I'm just going to get into the lower lash line and define those lashes. So one step that I did forget to do was to line the lower lash line. I'm going to use the NYX Wonder Pencil, and I'm just going to take this into the waterline, and this is going to really brighten the eye. Alright, now that our eyes are officially done, we're going to move on to blush. I'm going to use the ColourPop Cosmetics blush in Birthday Suit, and this is just a really nice, almost pale pink color, and it's a really natural color. So I'm going to take that on my Morphe brush. So our bronzer went here, we're just going to run that on top of the bronzer. Next we're going to go in with highlight. I'm going to use my favorite highlighter. This is the Becca Cosmetics in Opal. I'm just going to take that onto a fan brush and put it onto the highest points of my face. So I'm just going to run that on the top of the cheekbones. We're also going to run that above the brows. I'm going to take some on my finger and I'm going to put it... I took way too much. I'm going to put it on the nose. And then I'm just going to take some and put it on the Cupid's bow. Next I'm going to go in with a tiny little buffer brush. And I'm going to use this to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. I'm going to go back in with that Becca highlight. So that highlight's just really going to open the eyes just a bit more. Alright, so our final step, I'm going to move on to lips. I'm not even going to use a lip liner. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to use the ColourPop Cosmetics liquid lipstick, and this is in Trap. It's a really nice sort of pale lavender color. It's a bit cool toned, but I think it goes really well with the colors that we used on our lid. Alright, and just to give that color a little bit of shine as well as a little bit more color, I'm going to go in with my Milani lipstick. And I'm just going to go pretty much in the middle of the lips and sort of do like an ombre effect. Alright, so that's the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this spring glam. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Mwah.